So, Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for today's morning Bhagavad-gītā class of Srimad Sangam chapter of ISKCON Seshadribro. So, today I have been asked to discuss 12th chapter, Devotional Service, and verses number 10 to 12. So, we will read these verses. 12th chapter, 10th verse I will read first. Abhyasa api asamritto अभ्यासे अपि असमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मद अर्थम अपि कर्माणि कुर्वान् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि. Translation: if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Can we read the next one also, Prabhu? I'll read all three and then we will. Next one. Ataitad api asakto si kartum mad yogam ashritaha sarva karma phalatyagam tata kuru yatatmavan. Translation: if, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. Next. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj jnanad dhyanam vishishyate dhyanad karma tyagas shantir anantaram. Translation: if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. By such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Hare Krishna. So we will try and discuss these three verses. So this chapter, as I indicated, is called Devotional Service. So here in the beginning, quickly try to present the context. Arjuna is asking, Krishna, I have understood whatever you have said, but when it comes to, when you say devotion, I have also seen your Vishwarupa. I have seen that, you are pervaded everywhere and you are, in different manifestations we are able to see. And therefore, the concept of the Lord being everywhere is there. So how should I actually follow the path of self-realization? Should I look at directly your form as Krishna standing right in front of me? Should I just completely surrender onto this form? Or I should look at you through the various manifestations that you have showed me and you have indicated to me, opulences of the Lord we saw, Vishwarupa we saw, all these things. So they are all, if you can broadly classify all of them as Brahma. So should I focus on the Brahman Rupam, not Brahma? Brahma is not the four-headed Brahma. I'm talking about Brahman, the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead. Or should I focus on your personality in the form of Shyam Sundara, the Krishna, holding the flute in the hand, who's son of Nanda Maharaj, son of Devaki, so this is the personality. So should I look at this personality or? So Krishna is telling him there very clearly, without any doubt, that, surrendering onto me as person Krishna is the most perfect one according to my opinion. He's saying that. And he says that the other process is also there, but it is very difficult. It is very difficult to achieve. And at somewhere else, he's saying it's almost impossible, practically impossible to achieve that. So in that context, then he's telling how one can actually cross over this quickly, the material world. How can one quickly get over this consciousness if one is actually situated in that personal manifestation of the Lord, that in his person as Krishna, he will personally deliver that person. He's saying that. In that context, he's saying how one can be dedicated to him fully and what are the results and all that. And here in that context, these three verses are coming. So he's first saying, you completely dedicate yourself to me as Krishna. Dedicate your mind, dedicate your thoughts, everything to me and completely be absorbed in me. Then you are already in me, is Krishna saying. You are directly in me, saying, no, I'm swift deliverer, he says in one of the earlier verses. And he says, once you are in that mood and you are surrendering to me and dedicating all your activities, simply working for, simply be in what you call in love with me. When you say love, it's not like the material love that we say. Okay, no, it's not simply by love means service, service to the core. That means I'm completely aligned to you. Your wish is my only desire, nothing more. And whatever it is, I am here simply to do what you say. Just like this hand is there, it will do what I tell it to do. Whatever it is, it may be sometimes pleasant, sometimes unpleasant, whatever it is. It does not think, oh, should I do, why is he asking me to do nothing? It's just that, I literally don't apply my uh, my superficial thought over it. I simply do because that is the desire of my Lord. I am doing it. That level of surrender. And then he's saying, if you can't do that, you follow the regulative principles. Follow the regulative principles means not spontaneous love of Godhead. That is the first one. This one is not spontaneous, but we do understand, we do accept. Those are all sadhana bhakti, like we are all sadhaka bhaktis. That means we don't have that intense desire or already working in that mode. But we have a desire, we have understood, we want to get there. And therefore, we follow regulative principles of performing devotional service to the Lord, following the four regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, hearing Srimad Bhagavad-gītā, Bhagavatam, everything in the prescribed manner, prescribed by the pure Vaishnava Acharyas. So we are following that kind of a thing. So that could be the second stage, you say. And then this one we are talking about is where he is saying, if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the this is the 12th one, 10th one. If you cannot practice the regulation of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So this is the next stage where a person is not able to either be having spontaneous love for Krishna, nor follow the regulative principles prescribed by the acharyas. Then what do you do? How do you come to that platform? So here he is saying, you simply work for me. And by doing so, you will come to the perfect stage. So this is the preliminary stage to the regulative principle stage. So that means one comes to this some kind of understanding that Krishna, we accept Krishna. Generally one is complete non-acceptance of God itself. Then you come to the platform, okay, there is some higher power. And within that, you are able to also see Krishna, as God. You come to that platform. And you are very favorable to one who is actually following the regulative principles, or to one who is actually in the spontaneous loving service of the God. That is very important. One who is very favorable. So you will see many people like that. There, we go and ask for some, so Prabhupada defines this here. So you be favorable and help someone who's already situated in Krishna consciousness. So, for example, if someone goes and says, I am building a Krishna temple, can you give some Lakshmi, some donation, so that I can complete this thing? You say, yes, here, please take. I will help you. I will help you with the money. I will help you with contacts. I will, do whatever. It could be building. Prabhupada uses the word building a temple, or building an office, or helping that preacher in some form and shape. That kind of a mood. So that is working for Krishna. That means I have some facilities, and I understand that I am I'm not a atheist. I am a theist, and I also am appreciative and favorable of Krishna the person and his devotees, and I am trying to help in whatever way I can. I am not able to completely do all your regulative principles, not eat this onion, garlic, sometimes even non-vegetarian food, all this, the karmis we call. They do all these things. They cannot chant, they cannot do all these things. But when you go and talk to them something, they are very respectful. You try to go and distribute Bhagavad Gita, they see the Bhagavad Gita, they simply touch it and put it on their head like that and all. But they will be doing some abominable activities also and such things like that. But if they are favorable to Krishna consciousness and not simply a kind of a sentiment, but trying to do something, some activity which is helping in that direction, then that one is actually putting that person in that kind of a slow mode. So over a period of time, here clearly it is mentioned, uh, he will come to the perfect stage. That means he will come to the sadhana bhakti later, and then one day he will come to spontaneous love of Krishna and pure love of Krishna. So these things have been discussed as the, like Krishna is very practical, right? We are calling ourselves Sanatana Dharma, right? Sanatana Dharma is eternal Dharma and it is for everyone applicable for everyone. When you say everyone, not all souls are in the same platform. So different people, just like when you go to an educational institution, you will find people of different levels of knowledge, right? From, if you are looking at a school, that's right from LK, pre-KG today to 12th standard. And then when you go into college, you have 3-4 years, different levels of education. Then there is post-graduation. But all of them are aiming towards one direction of getting that knowledge, but not that everybody is in the same stage. So, but everything is going in that one direction. So, the similar way, when you say Sanatana, the idea is everybody should be ultimately going to that Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then my level is not at that highest level. So, in that situation, Sanatana Dharma provides the curriculum for all types of consciousness. But everything is ultimately focused on getting to that ultimate Supreme Personality of Godhead. The methodology, the speed and things like may vary, but everything is focused towards taking devotees to that platform, to the soul to that platform. So in that way, here Krishna is explaining everything. That doesn't mean someone who is already doing PhD has to come down to the level of a postgraduate or a graduate level. So we need to understand, okay, Krishna said like this, so I can also do and become a devotee. That we will come to towards the end. You already crossed that. Maybe why do you want to go back to those standards, right? That is there. We are not denying that these standards are there. Some lower standards are certainly there. That doesn't mean you will come. Someone who's already been at a higher level practicing a sadhana bhakti has to come down, because here it is said, by doing this process of working for Krishna without regulative principle, it says you will come to the perfect state. That means you are far lower than the perfect stage, and then the one who's doing regulative principle is actually above that stage. So this one is a step down. If you say I will work for Krishna, not follow any regulative principles. So then next comes the verse where he's saying, if however you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. So he's saying, okay, there are also the other class of people. They are not atheistic, they are theistic. But then they are not able to directly relate to Krishna. So the earlier class, they are favorable to Krishna. This class, they are working more, even at a higher place. They don't want to maybe put a face to that God. They are God conscious, but they are not specifically form. They are not able to relate to a particular form of the Lord. They try to, many people you may say, they say like, service to mankind, service to God, and these kind of things are there. That means without exactly relating to God, but simply serving the mankind. And he said, yeah, everything is one. If you serve mankind, it anyway goes to that whoever is that Lord is. That kind of or everything is God there anyway. So you do this, then it will go there. That kind of a mindset. So Prabhupada is saying, there are people who want to build hospitals. They want to do educational institution. Their intent is clear, very noble. They want to help others. They want to do some social service. These kind of people, they want to give charity. There are people who are finding it difficult to study. Okay, you give them, you create a trust, or you simply give money to educate some few poor people. or give some food to anathas or to old age homes. And many people do such thing. Today is my birthday. So instead of going and splurging it on in a party, I would rather go and give it to I'll go to some ashram, and there are children, poor people or children are there. I'll feed them. I'll feel happy. They don't feed prasadam or anything. They simply go and feed them normal bhoga. That means normal food which is not offered to the Lord. So those kind of things these people are getting into. There he's saying the results are different. The earlier one, when we say when you are not following the regulative principles but for working for Krishna, just try to work for me. That previous verse, when you try to work for Krishna, the person, but not following regulative principle, the result is you will come to the perfect stage. By that process, one day, Bahunam Janmanam Jnanavan, like that, not exactly Bahunam, maybe in a few more. It says, no, there's earlier things there. Once someone who's having some desire, they come to Krishna. But when they come to Krishna with a desire, just to achieve that desire, not that they are worried about, they are more concerned about Krishna or whatever, but they come, they associate with pure devotees. They are associating with devotees who are sadhakas. And then slowly by associating with them, they come to this understanding, and then they come to the regulative principle. So this is much more faster than Bahunam Janmanam Ante. I mean, the grading is always there. Like one who's already in 10th will come to the college level much faster than one who's in LKG. You'll take another 7, 8 years, like the few more janmas we may take. But in this case, the third case, what we are talking about, that you are not directly relating to the Krishna form, but you want to look at that Brahman in much more varied state, not even wanting to give it a form and say, okay, like this. Those kind of people, here it is mentioned, what is the result? It is mentioned, a result of your work, and try to be self-situated. So they are able to first come to this platform of understanding who am I, what is my, so I am Atma. I am not simply a bundle of sense gratifying tools. No, I am something beyond that. That stage of understanding, first you understand I am not the body. Then further, then if I am spirit, soul, what? Those questions come later. But here at this stage, by doing this, they come to this platform of understanding Aham Brahmasmi in a sense of that I am spirit. So that is this level of 11th verse. Prabhupada writes, I read a couple of verses to make that statement clear. For one who has such a problem, that means not accepting Krishna as the proper form of Krishna. There could be various reasons Prabhupada is saying, because of social or familial or religious considerations, or because of some other impediments. Someone is not able to directly take to Krishna as the Shama Sundar, if he is not able to take to him. Such a situation is saying, it is advised that he sacrifices the accumulated results of activities to some good cause. So he's not saying do devotional or specific devotional service or give to temple or whatever. Some good cause you give. Such procedures are prescribed in the Vedic rituals. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions of punya, or special work in which the results of one's previous actions may be applied. Like, they may do some yajna, some do punya karya, that, charity. All these things are punya karya, will be done. Thus, one may gradually become elevated to the state of knowledge. So he gets knowledge, not that in this earlier stage it said, you will come to the perfect stage. Here he is not using that word perfect stage, he is using the word you will come to the platform of knowledge. And from knowledge, that's slowly, yes, everything is getting towards that perfectional state. That is clear. But what is the immediate goal that you are able to get by this is being also described here. The immediate goal is not perfect stage, getting closer to the perfect stage. The immediate goal is knowledge. In this case, where you are not accepting the form of Krishna, but you are doing good work, which is punya work or sacrifice and all these related works. And then one thing is more important to also understand, that all these processes lead to Krishna consciousness. See, this is very important, understand this. All these processes lead to Krishna consciousness. But to be Krishna consciousness, one need not be having these as preliminary stages. So I earlier have been taking the example of school or college or something like that. So that is material way. Like for example, if someone follows these things, then he comes to the, like if he follows 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th standard, then he comes to the 10th standard. That is material knowledge. Does it apply in Krishna consciousness? Then the question is no. So if you are doing 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, you will naturally come to 10th. That is true. But it's also mentioned that you can directly come to 10th standard. There is not necessary that you have to follow this process. So that is important. That means Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any of these processes. But you do any of these processes, it will ultimately end in Krishna consciousness. So this is a big sutra. This is highest of education. That means if you have this, if you understand this clearly, then Krishna says, I will swiftly deliver you. Earlier, before this versus what we are discussing, something before that it was there. I am the swift deliverer. So if you are directly able to act for Krishna, nothing like it. Many people say, sir, that will all take time. What you are saying is nice and very good, but that will all take many time. Actually, it is said in the scriptures that I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. By doing all these things, then maybe I will come to that state one day. The time will come. My karma or whatever will take me one day to become like you. But right now, I will not be able to do that. And they think, this is artificial if you directly take to Krishna consciousness. So that is not true. So they say, I will have to follow this path. I have to stand in that queue. And maybe one day I will come in that queue and reach this place. So I don't want to simply by saying, like what you're doing, if I will become, perfected. No, I need to follow the yoga. I need to follow all these principles of, other meditation and all that stuff. Only then I will come. I cannot otherwise control my mind. First, I need to control my mind through the yoga process. Everything is already built into this Bhakti Yoga process. Right? When you are chanting 2 hours, that is actually also called meditation. In that process of meditation, you are also simultaneously doing Bhakti. So everything is built in. Like when you are doing Ekadasi, this control of the senses or what you try to do by, this process of renunciation, it is already there when you know when to speak, when not to speak. Everything is already built into this. By directly doing devotional service, all these are already dependent. That's why Prabhupada is writing, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any of these processes. But all these processes are actually dependent on Krishna consciousness, are ultimately leading to Krishna consciousness. So that is very important. And the last verse, what we are seeing, we will see again. Let's see a little more of what Prabhupada has written. He says, he is writing, it is also found that when one who is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness gives charity to some hospital or some other social institutions, he gives up the hard-earned results of such activity. So by doing this, what is he coming to this platform that, it's not simply this me and my body. If I am relating completely to me and my body, then I will not be able to part with my money or whatever that I have in my possession. But if I'm able to give it away and say, okay, let me give some of that Lakshmi to do this hospital or this educational institution, I am coming to the platform of slowly, gradually coming to this platform of saying, I am not the body. That is not Krishna consciousness. Just understanding I am not the body is only preliminary stage. So, but it helps us to come to that platform. That is there. Then it says, this is also recommended here because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually. And in that purified stage of mind, one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. So that is slowly first the purification to understand I am Atma, then come to this platform of being favorable to the form of Krishna, then coming to regulative principle, then going to the spontaneous love. So there's a few more steps ahead of this that way if you are following this process. And then where's what Prabhupada is writing, what I just now mentioned. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any of any or other experience, because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the results of his action. So all these things is classified under giving up results of actions, but not directly connecting to Krishna, the form Krishna, but looking at theism, but not able to relate to Krishna, but following some of these methods prescribed in the Vedic scriptures. That is this stage. And lastly, the 12th stage is where 12th verse where it says, if you cannot take up this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So this is the kind of the last way of explaining, okay, you can't be spontaneously love, you can't do regulative principles. So actually there are only these two methods. One is spontaneously in Krishna consciousness, and one is by following the regulative principles. And even if you can't do that, then there are other methods mentioned, like we saw that. And here he is mentioning that, you are not able to even do charity and all that. Like, you are still in bodily consciousness. That, if I give up this sacrifice, if I renounce some of these results, not exactly directly to Krishna, but to some good cause, what is prescribed in the Vedic rituals, I do that. I'm not able to do that also. Then what do I do? Then it's saying you cultivate knowledge. That means read the scriptures, go in search of knowledge wherever people are able to speak. That's why you see many people go and listen to every type of, discourses. Many people, so many people today are giving so many discourses. So on so-called spiritual matters, they go on searching. Oh, I went. They are very appreciative of all kinds of things. They will, once you give a class, they hear you. This is nice. Then they will go to some person who's an impersonalist and he gives some kind of a class. He will say, oh, this is also nice. This kind of thing. But he's spiritually oriented in one sense that, he's searching for something beyond this material things, but he's not able to be convinced completely. I'm still searching. So he says you go to this process of knowledge process. And through this knowledge, one day something will accumulated over many hearing, many this one. There may be some impressions formed, and we may try to follow some of those things subconsciously, and then slowly, consciously, like this, it will follow. Then he says the other, better than that, it's meditation. That means meditation is this yoga system where you sit and start meditating on the Lord. That means not, I don't know, the typical yoga system means meditating on the form of Krishna. But today's meditation is not in that form at all. But at least the idea is that, in that meditation, they see inward, that God is inside me only. That is how they start. The God is inside of me only. Let me try and go inside and see. So they try to concentrate the mind and, do those processes. We are not expert in that process, so I don't want to comment too much on that. But the thought is, the focus is, I try to see the super soul inside that. So better than knowledge is meditation, because meditation will allow us to come to this platform of seeing the personality of Godhead in some form and shape. That same super soul is inside everybody. So those concepts will slowly come into play, and then you will start helping, these things come. So better than this knowledge is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits. That means, see, when you get knowledge or when you do meditation, you are not renouncing anything. But renunciation is actually giving up the fruits of the results. That means I am practically doing something to show that, yes, I am understanding this, right? If you keep on saying, I will give crores of rupees, I will give crores of rupees. You don't even have anything. You can easily say, oh, I will give crores of rupees. When you have crores of rupees, are you able to give that? If you are able to give that, that is different than simply lip service. I'm very, I don't have any attachment. I can give up. We can keep on saying I can give up. But you give 100 rupees, that is better than simply saying I will give crores of rupees. First thing is you should have. And when you have it, are you able to part with some of it? That is important. So these processes of the renunciation process, the renouncing the fruits of the activities is much bigger than simply meditating or simply accumulating knowledge. So net, what we still need to understand is all these processes are there. They help us to progress gradually. But one who is able to come to this platform of regulative principles without necessarily having to go through any of these processes, he will actually be not losing anything, but on the other hand, he will come to be quickly delivered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is very, very clear. And one should come to this platform by taking the association of devotees under the direction of the spiritual master. That is very important. Prabhupada is writing, if you see clearly, it is however to be understood that indirect process is not recommended for Arjuna because he is already at the stage of loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I mentioned this, like if you are already following regulative principle, then you don't have to worry about this indirect process. It is not recommended for you. And here the example is Arjuna is already having spontaneous love. He does not have to follow anything lower, including regulative principles. It is for others who are not at this stage. For them, the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, meditation, and realization of the super soul and Brahman should be followed. But as far as Bhagavad-gītā is concerned, coming to the core of everything, it is the direct method that is stressed. So the Bhagavad-gītā does not talk about this indirect process at all. Bhagavad-gītā, it does talk, but it is stressing on the direct process, direct Bhakti Yoga process. Everyone is advised to take to the direct method and surrender onto the Supreme Personality of God and Krishna. This is Prabhupada's last word on this 12th verse. So, if we are able to come to that platform of directly doing some service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in association of devotees under the directions of the realized souls or in parampara, then we are secure. We don't have to worry. We are already very close to becoming perfect. So I end here. If there are any questions or comments, welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranams. Prabhuji, that this verse has always been confusing for me, the Shreyo hi Jnanam Abhyasat. So I got some level of clarity that this is for coming gradually to the Krishna conscious process. These are like the secondary importance.
Yes.
Then what about after the Abhyasa Yoga? There is one more, no, Prabhuji, like giving away your material. What is that?
Yes.
Results of your action. Results of your action.
Yes. So as I said, see, this knowledge, Prabhu, is theory, right? So you hear various discourses, including Mayavad, including devotional thing. Everyone, there is always this thing that, okay, you come to this platform of self, right? Even in Mayavad, they are not saying that, you be in bodily consciousness. They are also saying, come to this platform of self. According to them, the self is come to this, to the point of spirit. Then that spirit is God or that spirit is servant is a different discussion altogether. They're also saying this section. But knowing that I am, theoretically knowing is one thing, but how do you practicalize it? That means when you relate to the body, you look at everything as your possession. If you are able to say, okay, this is not mine here, there are so many poor people, let me give it. I don't think this is all to be enjoyed by me. Everything is also part and parcel of that God. Either thinking in Mayavad term that everything is God, there you are thinking, yes, that is also God, so I am not the only God, so I will part something to that. This is higher realization than simply in the bodily consciousness, right? So that's why he's saying the concept of able to renounce the results of your action. That means give the result of your action and say, this is not mine. That is better than simply theoretical knowledge that, yes, if I give up, I told no. It is better to if you simply say, oh, I will give 1 crore of rupees, simply thinking like that, better than that is actually giving up 1,000 rupees. Physically, okay, here, 1,000 rupees for this cause I'm giving. But if you simply keep on saying, oh, I could give, I could give, I could give, that is theoretical because you've got theoretical understanding by giving up, but you're actually not able to give up. But when you give 1,000 rupees, you are actually coming to the higher platform. That is what is mentioned here by giving the results of their actions. That is better than simply meditating.
So karma phala tyaga is more important than dhyana and theoretical knowledge, Prabhu.
Yeah, that is practical. Dhyana means knowledge. More
Yeah.
important than knowledge is practical application, which means doing the act. Is it not? You,
Right.
you read a book, you get some knowledge, but you go into the lab and practice that, right? Oxygen, in book it is mentioned, the water, they say the formula is H2O. This is knowledge. I know H2O means 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. That unit is called water. This is knowledge. But if I go to the lab and try and mix 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen and create water, then that is actual application. Like this, knowledge is one thing, but actually going into the field and doing that renunciation is the second higher level.
Yes, Prabhu. So the order is 8, 9, 10, 11. So the best is like we should be always be remembering Krishna.
Yes,
Second one is regulative principles, that is sadhana bhakti.
yes.
And the third is giving up results of your work,
Working for Krishna. Simply
working for Krishna.
do something. You may not be following a regulative principle, but help. Like you go and ask donation, the Janmashtami is coming. Why don't you give some donation, some shopwala? He'll say, yes, oh, I'm happy, please take. That is working for Krishna.
Okay. And 12.12 when it comes, what is the idea of that? 12.12 is like a classification is better than just theoretical knowledge, is to actually
12.5 is basically summarizing all of these things. Sorry,
summarize. Okay, there's a
12.12
summary.
is sort of summarizing. It is saying there are 2 classes. One
Okay.
is regulative principles, which, and then the higher one is spontaneous. All that is classified. The other one is if you can't do that, what are the possibilities? So again, coming back to giving up the results, then, trying to get knowledge and meditation. And the purpose of all this to renounce and come and be self-situated. That means in the consciousness of I am spirit, not body. And one leads to the other. When you start renouncing, then you come to that next platform of being favorable to, devotees, favorable to this one, that way. And that leads to regulative principle, that leads to spiritualism.
Okay. So so the pure bhakti yoga is mentioned in 12.8, Prabhu.
12.8.
12.8
Yes.
is bhakti yoga.
Yes. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your
Pure
intelligence
devotions.
in me. Thus, you will live in me and live in me always without a doubt. So that means you are actually in that state, that you are already with Krishna. That is Bhakti Yoga. That means spontaneous love for Krishna. Always. That means 24/7 we are thinking, acting, engaging, depending on Krishna.
Okay, Prabhu. And Sankhya yoga or Jnana yoga doesn't come into this classification at all, or it is also one of the parts.
No. This one is pure love of Godhead. This 8th one is pure love of Godhead.
Yeah, I mean in this hierarchy, where does it fit?
So that these those comes under maybe the 1 minute. Let me 11, 12 that category.
11, 12. Okay, okay. Got it.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. May I just, I got a little different perspective. Thank you for the wonderful class and guidance. But I have, from my little understanding, I've realized that, yes, for having your mind and intelligence all dedicated to Krishna and being in Krishna consciousness is the highest level which you have to aim for. But as the sadhakas, we are simultaneously doing so many things. We are reading, we are going through the process of reading daily. We are trying to follow the regulative principles. We are meditating. We are offering some of our services. So, isn't it like a pyramid which is going from a foundation of knowledge to reach the pinnacle of pure bhakti? We are doing simultaneously all these things, no, Prabhuji. It is not that either this or either that. We are doing all this simultaneously every day.
Yes. So that's why this is sadhana bhakti. That's why we say that when you do this, it already includes everything, your meditation, your other whatever charity or renunciation, everything is built into this package of sadhana bhakti.
Yes.
Right? So as you keep doing this, you come to that earlier stage of spontaneous love of God.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that is why we are saying, when you say, when you are doing this, working for me, you will come by this. So I mean, eighth, so I'm again coming to the eighth thing. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt. He's saying that means you have arrived, kind of a thing. But the next stage is where we are trying to arrive there by actually engaging. We don't have that spontaneous love. Therefore, we are doing all these things, hearing Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavad-gītā, doing our, Bhoga offering, doing morning activities, all these things. But if you really see there, we are sort of practicing. We don't have spontaneous love of Godhead. Right? Even as the class is being mentioned, we are asleep. Sometimes we fall asleep. Right? If you're in spontaneous love, you will be eager to hear 24/7. But sometimes when in this stage, I am ready to hear, but I am also worried, okay, it is getting late, I need to do something else. That kind of a mindset will come. But then in that process of that 1 hour of hearing or half an hour of hearing, we are trying to absorb ourselves. And by this practice of absorption, slowly you will become completely absorbed. Right, so many people say, I'm chanting, I'm not getting to perfectional stage. Yeah, the other speaker is saying, oh, I've been chanting for 30 years, I've also not come, I'm also trying. So the point is, we have to come to that perfectional stage, but this is the process to come to that perfectional stage.
Yes, Prabhuji. So we are all, I mean, at least I am in the sadhaka, we have to follow this process, I mean, always.
Yes. But it will quickly come to that point of view. Sometimes the other day I was discussing, so when you say, you just now mentioned, I have been chanting 30 years, I'm not coming to that perfection, I'm thinking like that. I'm not talking about myself. The speaker there's a conversation between a speaker and then one who's asking question. So the person who asked question is saying, I'm chanting, but I have not come to this perfectional stage. I'm chanting for 5 years like that. The speaker says, no, I am chanting for 10 years. I feel I have not come to this perfectional stage. So then we fear, therefore, what are we talking here? Everybody is only in practical stage. The speaker who has practiced for 20 years is also saying the same thing. So what is progress? So my point is, sometimes the speakers are humble, that they may think that I have not come. And Krishna consciousness, it's a ocean. So we will never get satisfied. We will keep on drinking Krishna to that goes on. There's no end to this, eternal. So in that sense, one could be. The other, like when Prabhupada says like that, you have to understand like that, not that Prabhupada is still a sadhaka. He's already perfected his life. And many of Prabhupada's disciples have already, why I should not say all Prabhupada disciples or following would have reached that stage. But they will still be saying humbly, we all, when they say we all are not there, they will say, when they say we all, they are humble. That's why they are saying we. They should say you all, but they don't say you all, they say we all, including them, they say. That is one thing. But the other thing, even if someone like me, I'm just saying, I am, practicing 25 years or whatever, I have not reached there. I may mean what I'm saying. But the question is, therefore, no result, one may conclude like that. But you need to understand, our life is not simply my 55 years or 60 years, whatever my age is, right? I am a soul who's unlimitedly been living in the past. But in this last just to 15 years, if I can reach this stage of life, just imagine. See, that is how we have to understand this, rather than saying, oh, he has spent 30 years, he has spent 20 years, he's not reached perfection. No. He has spent millions of years, but in last 20 years, he's achieved this much. That is only possible when we come to this platform of direct Bhakti Yoga. Does it make
Thank you,
sense?
Prabhuji. Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. So it's an ongoing journey. It's not just limited to this life. And if with Krishna's mercy, we just need to progress.
And if you are taking to the sadhaka method and
Mm.
strictly following the sadhaka given, sadhanas given, like 16 rounds of chanting, 4 regulative principles, regularly taking only prasadam, Prabhupada says you will achieve that perfection in this life itself.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So no need to have Bahunam Janmanam Ante, not needed. There,
Okay.
that Bahunam Janmanam Ante is for one who has come to this through the knowledge process.
Okay, Prabhuji.
But one who understands Janma Karmacha Me Divyam, he will immediately go back to Godhead. The Janma Karmacha Me Divyam, Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha Tiktva Deham Punar Janma Naiti. So once he leaves this body, he will go back to Godhead. But you should know Janma Karma in Tattvataha, that means in truth, without any contamination.
Mm.
Then you go back in this life only.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very enlightening class.